Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's go into a list today. I have 6 things that are traits of manhood. People have asked this question before. What is manhood? What does it mean to be a man? Am I a man? When can I realize manhood? When will I be a man? This is questions that young guys ask. Seems to be popular. It was for me and my friends, and seems like people go through this at different rates depending on their experience and their emotional maturity. So let's just go through this list and see what makes a man. The first thing on my list is courage. In order to be a man and to realize manhood, you have to have courage. You have to develop courage. But courage doesn't mean that you never get scared. You still get scared. You can still be horribly frightened, just like you used to be. That doesn't go away. The difference between having courage and not having courage is that just because you're horribly frightened, it doesn't mean that you stay still. You can still move forward. You can walk into the face of danger instead of that deer in the headlights mentality that maybe you had before, that many of us start off with. And it takes a gradual kind of experience testing the waters to be able to feel safe enough to go into danger. But what it also takes is a certain amount of confidence in yourself, in your physical and mental abilities, and to get rid of your fear of death. A man isn't afraid of death. Get rid of your fear of death. And you'll build courage. Because you can't fuck with a guy who's not afraid of death. That makes you deadly. That makes you a major threat. There's nothing more scary than a guy who isn't afraid to die. That doesn't mean you're stupid. I'm not talking about Jackass, the movie, a bunch of idiots jumping off bridges. It just means you've come to terms with it. You can willingly walk into the face of danger in order to protect, do the right thing. You have courage. You can courageously move forward in life when others may be scared to move forward. You can courageously make decisions, trusting yourself that things will work out. So having courage is an important aspect of manhood. It makes you more of a leader. Leaders have courage. Let's go to the next one, discipline. I talk about discipline a lot. I love making videos about discipline because discipline changed my life. Learning to be disciplined changed my life. I don't really think that you can be taught to be disciplined. I mean, you can understand what it means and what it looks like. But you have to build it within yourself, and that comes through just daily struggle. Making a list, trying to accomplish those things on that list, all goal-oriented items, willingly going through suffering each day, doing stuff that you don't want to do, and you become stronger through repetition. The more you go through suffering, the stronger you get. You see a real strong motherfucker, you know that guy's been through a lot of suffering. The more suffering you go through, the stronger you become. Discipline is a true aspect of manhood. Children aren't disciplined. Men are. I know lots of grown men who are not disciplined. Not at all. Not in their diet, not in their schedule, not in their fitness, not in their spirituality, not in any aspect of their life. They're not disciplined. And a lot of people have this fantasy, weak people have this fantasy that their own laziness or apathy is somehow freedom. That's what they think freedom is. It's the opposite. I had a relatively free lifestyle as a kid with no rules. You may have had a bedtime, I didn't. I had no bedtime. Do whatever I want. There was no time to go to bed, son. None of that shit in my house. I could be out as late as I wanted. As a little boy, my mom wasn't around. She was working 2 jobs. I do whatever I want. I had no rules. No rules in my house. Who's gonna punish me? I get suspended from school. I just go home and sit by myself at the house, watch TV by myself. There's nobody parenting me. There's no rules. I ended up wild. I ended up out of control. Looking back, as a 50-year-old man, looking back on my own childhood, I wish I would have had parents that weren't these hippies, that could have instilled some discipline in my lifestyle, some structure into my lifestyle. And maybe as I would have gotten older, I could have had some routine. I had to learn it on my own. I learned discipline through pure, utter frustration with myself and my life. I can't go another day like this. What's my option? Another day like this in misery, depression, sorrow, guilt, shame, pain, triggered trauma. Another day like that. Weakness. Or I could get on top of my shit and be disciplined. Let's go to the next one. I could spend a lot of time on discipline. A spiritual connection. The trait of manhood is having a spiritual connection with God. There's a hierarchy to man. And it goes, God is at the top, God's the creator. Man is built in the image of God. Then you have woman under man, and then you have children under women. You want to allow yourself to grow up. You can break beyond this dilemma that you may have in your life of being ruled by women. Women rule you because you may still be a child. A woman won't rule a man. She'll rule children because that's what women do. Have a spiritual connection. I don't care what it is. You don't have to be a Christian. Be Jewish, be Muslim, be Buddhist, be Taoist. Taoism is cool. I study all religions, all kinds of ones, all kinds of religions. I just like the idea of it and the lessons that we learn with it. It's just a good way to live. People want to argue about Jesus. I used to go to church with this buddy of mine, Brian, and he would always want to argue with me after church. Do you think Jesus really walked on water? Do you think Jesus really lived? Or, wanted to point out flaws in the story. And I would tell him, look, we could just as easily have this conversation about Gandalf. Who the hell cares? It doesn't matter if it's real or not. Stop trying to turn it into a fucking history class. It's just a book, and it's a good way to live. Forget about it. So what? So if it was fake? What if it was written by an idiot? It was all a lie, and he's just snickering in the history books. I made the whole thing up, and they believed it. So what? It's a great way to live. Have a spiritual belief, and you'll find that you assume your role within that hierarchy of man. Let's go to the next one. Men have survival skills. A trait of manhood, aspects of manhood are being able to survive. Men can survive. That's what makes leaders. People follow men because they can survive well. Women and children follow men because we survive well. We can find food, we can find water, we can provide shelter, we can provide protection. We could just do this for ourselves in some selfish way, and many people do, but being able to do that for others is also an aspect of manhood, an aspect of survival. Your survival isn't just for you, your survival is for others, to carry on the species, your race, that kind of thing, your people, your tribe. Let's go to the next one. Diplomacy. An aspect of manhood is diplomacy, being a diplomat, being able to bring people together, to stop arguments, to bring two warring sides together, have a sit down, stop two bratty children from fighting, stop two dogs from fighting. It takes a real confident, stoic, calm man to do this kind of thing. Let's just go to the last one, because I think you understand that. I could spend a lot of time on each one of these, but the last one is love for fellow man, love for your fellow man. It's an aspect of manhood, is having love for your fellow man. Because you go through these. Once you have courage, discipline, a spiritual connection with a God, with a higher power, survival skills, a certain stoicism and calmness in order to be able to bring people together, or diplomacy, to be a diplomat. With all of that combined, this list, you have the confidence to navigate this world like a true warrior and a leader. And leaders have love for their fellow man. They're not scared of them. When they see flaws or weaknesses in other men, they don't laugh at them or bully them or put them down. They lift them up. They are examples for them. Can help you. I got enough. I can help you. I'm not talking about giving change to homeless people. I'm talking about being an example, being a leader, being alpha. You know, it's social positioning, it's popular psychology, I know, but having love for your fellow man, you got to admit, it's needed now. We need to stop with the partisanship. Stop with this us against them tribalism, this groupthink. Stop with the confirmation bias and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Stand on your own beliefs. Be able to be an individual confidently. And as you're navigating through this world, when you see another guy on the street or wherever you run into people, instead of assessing everybody as a threat like some people do, like weak people do, you can have respect for them. That's what I mean by love for your fellow man. You don't have to go around hugging motherfuckers. Just have respect for them. Respect that they're on their own journey, trying their best just like you are. These are aspects of manhood, traits of manhood. Just food for thought. I'm sure there's many more that we could go through. Tell me if you can think of any that I missed. Thanks for watching.